Yeah, thanks very much, everyone. It's lovely to see you all, and I hope that the first session has been really engaging. And I'm really hopeful, actually, that all the sessions will be really engaging, and we'll have a really constructive outcome to it. My involvement has been from Fossil Free Southwark, which is originally local residents, workers, council staff and former council staff, particularly pensioners, who were focused on divestment of the council pension fund from fossil fuel investments. So at the time when we started campaigning, the pension fund was valued at £1.6 billion, and there was an estimated 60.5 million invested in fossil fuels. And as a result of our campaigning and some positive work that Southwark have put forward, there's now far less, probably likely to be closer to kind of 10% of that original figure of 60 million invested. They've also invested in exclusionary funds within which is fossil free exclusionary and low carbon funds, as well as allocated 5% of the entire fund towards sustainable infrastructure, which so far has been all renewable funds. Of course, there's been areas where they could have done more and done better, but partly as a result of that kind of successful campaign, we broadened our focus to wider environmental issues, and so that particularly any of those that were associated with the burning of fossil fuels, which you'll probably learn, if you don't already, that that's almost every single sector of industry and society. As was mentioned, some of the groups, including ourselves and Extinction Rebellion, campaigned for the council to declare a climate emergency, which they did. A lot of the work that we've been doing has been to take them to task on the really long delays and inadequate actions that they've so far put in place in relation to the climate emergency, and really push for them to take bold and brave actions to address what is probably the biggest crisis of our time. So my involvement on the Oversight panel is to ensure that there is scrutiny within the process, that there is the right mix of experts, that the right questions are asked to you, that there is an ecological and systemic connection, and there is an understanding of the disproportionate impact on those who've contributed the least emissions. And so I'm really hopeful that the citizens' jury is engaging and educational, but I also really hope that it's not just framed on negativity, because I think that we could lose some really valuable opportunities to actually show you and demonstrate that people can live better and healthier lives by adopting the right policy measures to address the climate emergency. I also hope that, and we'll be pushing very hard with other groups, that wherever reasonably possible, the jury recommendations are deliberative, which means, you know, the Southwark should adopt the recommendations wherever it's reasonably possible. And I really am keen to ensure and push against the jury being pushed towards, pushed away from thinking about big policy solutions, and pushed, and I'm really against, you know, being pushed towards the more micro-consumerist bollocks, which is what George Monbiot just used as a term to describe it. So I'm hopeful that you will take on some big challenges and be brave enough to actually recommend some big policy changes, because I think that that's what's ultimately necessary.
Okay.
And thank you.
Thanks, Karrim. That's brilliant.